Hello everyone, welcome to the Infosectrain. My name is Ayush and I will be your instructor for this entire session. In this particular session, we are going to discuss interview question specifically on AWS. I am not only going to discuss question answer, but also I will explain the concept so that you don't have to cram these answer. If you learn the concept, then you can easily address interview question and as well as you can structure your own answer. How will you do hardening of a new AWS account? So for that, we have so many steps. So first step is that never share the root password with any user and disable the root access key. So whenever you are just creating an account, you don't have to share your root password with anyone. And if there is any access key, disable it. Create IAM groups and assign required policies. So if you're having, if other people also want to access your account, so you can just create groups and users and assign them policies. Okay, so you can create IAM users and then into respective groups and make sure all will required has no additional access will be given to any user without approval. So there will be no additional access that is given to any users without approval. Second thing is that set password retention policy. It means that after some time your password should be changed, right? Now always allow only required rule in NACSEALs and security groups. Now second question is that you have two servers A and B in your AWS account and you have allowed it SSH access between both of them, but you are not able to ping each other. What could be issue and how can you resolve it? So for that, ICMP protocol is not allowed it between them, allowed in the same security group. So in case ICMP are allowed it in security groups, then allow ICMP on NAC ACLs. Cool team. ICMP protocol will not be allowed it. So what you need to do, you should be enabling ICMP protocols, right? Now, if I have created an EBS volume, but I am not able to attach to my instance, what would be the issue and how to resolve it? Possibly the instance and volume are in different AZs. Create a snapshot of the volume. Create the volume using the snapshot in the same region where the EC2 instance is launched and attach it to the instance. So there are a lot of times people get confused. I have created a volume and when they're trying to attach that volume to instance, the instance is not visible. The reason is that they are in different AZs. So volumes are AZ dependent. Okay. So now let's move on to another question. How do I change an EBS volume type and increase a volume size? So for this, you need to create a snapshot of that volume and create a new volume using that snapshot. So while you create a new volume, you will get an option to select volume type and change this size. However, you cannot reduce the size. You can only increase the size, but you won't be able to reduce the size. What are the deployment models using in clouds? So there are like four different types of deployment model. First one is public, second one is private, third one is hybrid, and fourth one is community. So now let's take one by one. If we talk about public cloud, there is always a cloud service provider with a pay as you go model. And for public cloud model, they can be like lot of example, Amazon itself, Google, Microsoft, right? So there are like lots of public cloud service provider. So this is public cloud. In that we are having cloud service provider and we are using it. So for public cloud also we are having two categories, is that one we can use for individual and another is for organizational purpose. And there can be an example also like Google Drives and Amazon S3. Amazon S3 can be also used by individual, but mostly people use Google Drive, and S3 is used by mostly used by organization. If we talk about public cloud, the only good thing about public cloud is it is economical. And if we talk about drawbacks, we are having very less security, no location preferences, and limited space if we want to pay more also. Now, if we talk about private cloud, they are of two types: on-premises private cloud and off-premises private cloud. On-premises private cloud, we have own infrastructure, and we are just having our hosting our own data center, and we are just adding some features of cloud like auto scaling, all these kind of stuff, and we are just hosting a private cloud on our premises. And in this, we are not having any cloud service provider, we are just hosting our own private cloud. And for this, cost is too much high but more flexible, and this case is called as on-premises private cloud. And in private cloud, we are having another thing that is called as off-premises private cloud. And off-premises private cloud, it is called as virtual private cloud. This is a private cloud that is not in your premises. So in private cloud, we are having two things, that is on-premises private cloud, in which we are not having any cloud service provider. We are hosting our own data center and adding capabilities of cloud and consuming it. And second thing, we are having that off-premises private cloud. It is like a virtual private cloud, but not in your premises. So example can be AWS, Azure. Using VPC, you can create your own data center as well. In this, physical hardware is shared, but virtually it is different. But if we talk about on-premises private cloud, there is no sharing of physical hardware. Now we have another deployment model that is called as hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is a combination of public and private cloud. It is like we are having on-premises DC cloud and need to extend for some amount of time. So for example, if you have on-premises cloud and you want to just use public cloud for some amount of time, or if you're having any project, and if you want to extend for this, so you can use hybrid cloud. And like another case we are having, if you want to build a DR site or disaster recovery, then also you can use hybrid cloud. And we have something called as community cloud. It's like we built a cloud for some community and it is used by them only. Example, like we are having four banks, for example, SBI, HDFC, ICICI, and PNB. So now banks wants to build a cloud which is for them only. Okay, so we are just building a cloud for them only because they are having sensitive data. So they really don't want to share physical hardware. So they want to go for community cloud. So what we can do, we can just build a community cloud and this will be used or consumed by these banks only. Now in modern scenario, we are having more deployment models, that is TCP. So what you can do, you can just use these services and deploy a model that is called as multiple cloud. It means that you will be consuming services that is provided by different cloud service providers. Now, Tim, moving to the next question. So what is Amazon Messi? So Messi is a fully managed data security and data privacy service that uses machine learning and pattern matching to discover and protect your sensitive data in AWS. Messi automatically used to discover data automatically, like your PII, that is personal identifiable information. Then we have PHI, protected health information. So these things are automatically discovered by Messi. Then Messi used to identify and protect various data types like PII, PHI, regulatory documents, API keys, and secret keys. So you know that if you have uploaded a secret key in S3, that is, and that bucket is public and it can be shared with, and it is shared by other people also, then I think your organization is in a trouble, right? Because anyone can just use these access key and access your instances, right? So for this purpose, we are having Messi. Messi will discover these kind of things and will tell you. Then Messi is used for verify compliances with automated logs, and it is also used for instant auditing, receive notification when data and account credentials leave protected zones. So these are the things that Messi help us to protect our sensitive information. Now moving on to the next question. What is difference between S3 availability and durability? Now, if we talk about availability and durability, they both are closely related to each other, but they are not same. See, availability refers to the uptime of a service, that is S3 storage, system uptime, and can also able to deliver the request and data. So availability is like if you're hosting a static website in S3. Now, for how much time, or like what is the availability of this service? Like your static website is hosted in 3 AZs. If two AZs are down and still one AZ is working, what will happen? Your services is still available. So this is called as availability. Now, on the other hand, if we talk about durability, durability refers to the data that is stored and should not be suffered from degradation and corruption. It means that now you can take an example. At home, you might be using pen drives or you might be using hard drives, right? So what happens after some time? These get degraded and corrupted, and your whole data is lost. So this is the durability, right? So these both are closely related to each other, but they are not same. Now, team, moving to the next question. Now, next question is mention some important features of S3 buckets. Now, there are like some important features of S3 bucket. First one is static web hosting. So this is a really important feature provided by S3. You can host a static website. You just need to have your static content and just upload it, and your static website is hosted. A static website is basically a informational page, nothing else, right? So if you want to host a static website, then you can go for S3 bucket. The reason is that if you're going for S3, S3 is built to serve lots of requests. So if you are having lots of requests for a static website, then you can go for S3. Then we have something called as versioning. Versioning is mostly used and it is recommended when you are using some features. See, if you want to replicate data from one bucket to another bucket, whether they are in same region or another region, or the both buckets are in different AWS accounts, so we can do it. But when you're going to do it, we need to enable versioning. If you are not enabling versioning, you won't be able to do. So if you're creating any replication rule on these kind of features, so then you have to use versioning. And versioning is not used for like these features only, but versioning has more significant thing. Like, first thing is that it helps you from overwritten, right? Now take an example. If you're working in an organization and I have uploaded a file and another person also uploaded a file with the same name, then what will happen? If you haven't enabled versioning, your data has been lost. But if you enable versioning, you can easily get your data by deleting the latest version of that file. Second thing is that if you talk about deletion, if you really don't want to get your things accidentally deleted, then you can use versioning. And then we are having encryption. So we are having like lots of encryption. Then you can go for like server side encryption, that is S3. Then you can also use encryption technique, that is server SSE KMS, right? So they are like AWS providers these kind of encryption technique to protect our data. Then we have object lifecycle management. This is really cool feature. Now, if you have uploaded any object in a standard class, and now if you know that this data is not sensitive, and after few months or after few days I really don't need data, then you can use object lifecycle management. In that, what you need to do, you just need to mention like after how much time this object should move from a standard class to infrequent access or glacier, or this data is deleted. If you mention that expiry date, then data will be moved or purged from S3. And unlimited storage, as we know, till this time I haven't seen that anyone has exhausted S3. So this is the cool and important feature. Now team, moving on to the next question. So what is auto scaling? So team, auto scaling is something called as creating duplicate instance during heavy business hour. And now you can take an example. You are hosting a shopping website, and now you are going for sale, summer sale or winter sale, whatever sale you want to go for. Now you know that there will be a huge spike, right? But in normal days, this spike, you are not having much requirement or much request, then you can go for auto scaling. So if you have enabled auto scaling, as the spike will increase, your duplicate instance will be created by AWS automatically. And auto scaling, we are having two different things, that is called as scale in and scale out. Scale in is just reducing the instance, and scale out is increasing the instance by duplicating. Now, team, moving on to the next question. Next question is, what is CloudFront? Team, CloudFront is a service that speeds up transfer of your static or dynamic web content such as HTML files, image file, etc. And CloudFront delivers you through worldwide data centers named edge locations. Now, Tim, what is the concept behind CloudFront? Is that, for example, now I have hosted an application in Mumbai region. Now I am having a customer globally. So now a customer from US want to access my application. So what will happen? He need to just go to the public internet, and there will be a lots of hops, right? And then finally he would be reaching to my application. And by this, there can be like lot of challenges, SEO challenges or transaction timeout, right? Performance issue. So there will be a lot of issue. So we are using called as CloudFront, and using CloudFront, what we are doing, we are just catching our data all around the world using a technique called as edge location, right? So these are the data centers we are using as location for catching our data, and this data will be accessed by our customer easily because now this data resides nearby our customer. So by this way, we can speed up transfer. And one more advantage we are having, we can reduce pressure on our application that is hosted on Mumbai region, right?